Chinese repression intensifies in Xinjiang. Uyghurs are a Turkic Muslim minority, primarily located in the Xinjiang Province in western China. Since the arrival of a new regional party secretary from Tibet in 2016, they've been facing increasingly constraining measures. Authorities can arbitrarily send people to detention camps considered suspicious without charge or trial. Displaying religious signs, having relatives abroad, or even speaking Chinese poorly have been proved enough to set off the alarm bells. No official figures exist, but a recent report by the Jamestown Foundation estimates that at least several 100,000 people are currently being held indefinitely. This goes alongside a mass high-tech surveillance program. Chinese authorities claim that the crackdown is only targeted against Islamic terrorism and separatism. However, repeated human rights violations have been reported by various NGOs. China doesn't want you to see this.
Privacy violations for all. An international human rights organization has found that China is gathering DNA from a region in the far west that's home to a much oppressed ethnic minority. The Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region is home to about 10 million Uyghurs, a Muslim Turkic group with a long history of discord with the mainland. As such, it's one of the most tightly controlled parts of China. According to Human Rights Watch, authorities in Xinjiang are now collecting DNA samples and biometric data from all residents aged 12 to 65. Police officers collect photos, fingerprints, household registration data, and iris scans during home visits or at designated collection points. Blood types and DNA are gathered through a government health exam called Physicals for All. Data is transmitted to a database and linked to the individual's national ID number. People originally from Xinjiang who have moved to other parts of China are also required to submit their information locally. Over 18 million people have participated in the physical as of November 2017. Though Physicals for All is supposedly voluntary, residents are expected and often pressured to take part. Human Rights Watch has slammed the mandatory data banking as a gross violation of human rights, adding that carrying it out under the guise of a free healthcare program makes it even more disturbing.
再见 privacy. China's found another way to get even more user data. At the end of February, Apple will move China-based iCloud users' data and keys from its servers in the US to China. The company says this is to comply with Chinese law. If a user's Apple device is connected to an iCloud account, it typically backs up photos, emails, messages, contacts, and other information. From the end of February, Chinese authorities will be able to issue Apple with a warrant to access this data. This only applies to users who set their home as China. Users in Hong Kong and Macau are not affected. The data will be stored on state-controlled firm Guizhou Cloud big data servers. Many are concerned how this will impact China-based users' privacy. But hey, it's just China. What could go wrong?
China putting AI and facial recognition into classrooms. China needs to keep its 1.3 billion citizens in check, especially now that some of them have found the real world beyond the Great Firewall. To take Chinese control into the 21st century, Beijing is now shoving facial recognition and AI into the classroom. The West worries about things like individual privacy, while in China it's about as prevalent as clean air. According to a state media report, a high school in eastern China is testing facial recognition to see how engaged, aka bored, students in the classrooms are in real time. They claim the system can pick up 7 moods, including happy, sad, afraid, and angry by scanning a student's face. A camera in the front of the classroom can also track 6 types of behavior such as reading, writing, raising your hand, standing up, listening to the teacher, listening, and leaning on the desk. A social credit score for everyone, facial recognition to track ethnic minorities, and now AI in classrooms. It's a glorious time to be Chinese. Minority Report is now a reality in China. China is using big data to target ethnic minorities in Xinjiang, detaining them on the basis that they may someday threaten the government. Beijing has been using surveillance cameras with facial recognition technology, Wi-Fi sniffers, and police checkpoints to monitor the country's Uyghur population. Data from these sources, as well as existing health, banking, and other records, feeds into the Integrated Joint Operations Platform, a system that uses predictive policing to flag down potential threats. Authorities personally visit flagged individuals to gather more information, but can take into custody anyone deemed suspicious, whether or not they've committed a crime. Most detainees are sent to political education centers where they are reportedly indoctrinated in Chinese socialist ideology. Reports estimate that roughly 120,000 people are being held indefinitely without charge or trial inside the camps.
China is developing a mosquito radar. Chinese scientists are working on new radar technology to track mosquitoes. According to the South China Morning Post, the radar emits electromagnetic waves on many frequencies. The device reportedly uses technology from China's missile defense system. When these electromagnetic waves come in contact with the insect, they are bounced back toward the radar with data on the mosquito. This information reportedly includes what species a mosquito belongs to, as well as its gender, flight speed, and direction. Another researcher unassociated with the project explained it may be more difficult to detect a mosquito than an F-22. This is because the differences in structure and movements. Background noise may also make it difficult to track mosquitoes via radar.
再见, People's Republic. China is curbing the transportation rights of state-deemed social miscreants. Effective May 1st, the People's Republic of China will ban citizens with low social credit scores from using flight and rail transport for 1 year. Those prohibited include people who caused trouble on flights, as well as individuals who used out-of-date tickets or those who were caught smoking on trains. Also affected are people who didn't pay fines and businesses who did not pay their employees social insurance. According to Reuters, China's yet-to-be finalized social credit system operates on the doctrine of once untrustworthy, always restricted. And who says whether you're untrustworthy? The Communist Party of China, that's who.